Hey, thank you for coming by. Tory Magoo 44. Today's the 21st of February. It is very near to one of the favorite days of my life, which is February 23rd. It's my son's birthday, and it's coming up. Anyway, in the meantime, thank you for coming by my YouTube site. And today I'm going to be talking to you about, a lot of people call me who have loved ones in Scientology. And I end up saying kind of the same thing over and over. So I'm going to try to make a little series on Scientology loved ones, a message of hope, right? I'm going to do a Scientology series for loved ones, basically. But this is the first one, and it's a message of hope. And people call me all the time again, and they say, what can I say to my loved ones? It depends, obviously, on how sucked into Scientology they are. But I always start with very basic things. In the creed of a Scientologist, it says, man has the inalienable right to free speech and free thought. I've mentioned this many, many times, but it's a very key thing to keep asking them. If you're free, why can't you read certain books? If you're free, why can't you talk to me, right? I mean, they can't. They literally can't. If you're in and you're listening to this, you know it's true. And you'll hear, oh, they're this, or they're that, blah, 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 but after a while, you have to start going like, why is it that Scientologists have to say these bad things about every ex-member that leaves who speaks out at all? I mean, it is a question to ask. So I say to people who are loved ones, if you can talk to them, ask them to watch a video. People think, oh, Scientology's following me. I say, I doubt it. They have some very, very big problems now with David Miscavige being deposed, sued, kicked out of countries. They've got a lot of big problems. So I don't really think they're outside your house. But if they are, here's what I do. This started when I first left, and I was at a restaurant, and there was one guy sitting there. And I'm going to say this again. I've told it, but in case you didn't hear it, there's a guy sitting at the restaurant, and OSA used to do this. They would send people out to have them sit and listen to other people that had left. And what are they saying? I don't know. I never did it, but I know that they did it, and they would send people out. So now I'm out, and I'm sitting at a restaurant, and there's this one guy, and I'm thinking, it's OSA. And I think, you know what? I am not going to go for the rest of my life worrying about whether that one guy is OSA or not. So I go up to him, and I go, excuse me, could I ask you a personal question? And the guy looks up and he goes, yeah, sure. And I said, are you a Scientologist? And he goes, me? Do I look like a Scientologist? God, no. And you could tell by how he said it, he was totally shocked, and he was not a Scientologist, right? So from then on, I've done it. If there's a van outside my house and I'm kind of going, maybe this is the Office of Special Affairs, I go on over. I go, hey, hi, I live here at this house, and I'm just curious. I want to ask you a personal question. And they always go, okay, sure. And I go, are you with the Church of Scientology at all? And every time they'll go, hell no, I'm with Charter, or I'm with AT&T or whatever they're here for.
Avast virus database has been updated.
Thank you, Avast. All these things popping up on computers, they crack me up. Anyway, okay, so there's that. So my thing is, don't be fearful of them. And at the worst, I just talked to a guy, he called me, and he was worried about his family that are in and blah, 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 and people that might be outside his house. And I said, you know what, even if they are, invite them in. Number one, they're never going to come in. But if they do come in, invite them in and talk to them. I mean, they're just people. I used to say that to Scientology when I was helping OSA, the Office of Special Affairs. They would send me out to handle the critics. And I would go out and talk to them, and they'd leave, and I'd come back in, and they'd say, what did you do? They left. And I'd say, I just talked to them. They're people. That's all they are. They're just people. And that's the same for Scientologists. They're just people. In fact, they're really screwed up people because they can no longer apply their very basic tools. Communication, responsibility, knowing how to know. That's what the definition of Scientology is. But they can't know anything, right? No, don't look at that. Don't talk to Tory. Don't talk to him. Don't talk to her. They've got a million stops. It's frightening to see. It really is. It really, really is. So anyway, my thing is, don't be fearful. If they're there and you really think they are, go ask them and see if they are. 99% of the time, they are not. It isn't who you think they are. So they probably aren't outside your house. I would put money on it they're not outside your house. But just in case, go out and ask them. Find out. Don't be afraid. Don't ever be afraid. Living a life of fear is really not a healthy life. It's wasted energy. It's a drag. It's a bummer. So you go through what you have to go through. Live a good life. Find what you want to do with your life and do it. And then do something that you love and do it. And enjoy your life. And if your family's in Scientology, I said it to this guy, I'll say it to you. Just like alcoholics. I have some friends who are ex-alcoholics. They've been in AA for 20, 30 years. They haven't taken a drink. And we'll run into somebody who's been drinking a lot. And I'll say, why don't you get that guy to AA? And they say, we can't. And I go, what do you mean? And they go, they have to get to a point where they want to change their life. That's the moment when they'll change. And I realized, really Scientology is the same. All of us who are out, we each individually got to a point where we went, you know what? That's it. I'm done. That's it. And we left. That's exactly what happened. And you can talk to person after person after person. And almost all of us, everyone I know, fought like hard as nails to prove that, Scientology was right. All these critics are wrong. Hail L. Ron Hubbard, everything else. But then there was a point where we saw enough of the dark side. We went, I didn't get into Scientology. For me, it was I didn't get into Scientology to stop free speech. No. And that's what Bill Yardy got me to be part of. And I had been out there opening these phony accounts, not knowing what they were doing with them. He wouldn't tell me. Excuse me, because he said they'll put you in deposition and you'll be in it forever, Tory. So, no, I didn't want to be in deposition. So I thought, okay, fine, I'll just stay in the dark. I won't know. I mean, I trust Bill. Bill wouldn't do anything wrong, would he? Well, yeah, he would. And he did. And for the people that are in, you're getting suckered like unbelievably. Watch Chris Shelton's new videos that are out. He's a guy who ran the Pac base, and he's now out, and he's talking. You know what? And I'll put a little video in here about Chris Shelton because he talks about how we know the missions were gone, but now the Class 5 orgs are gone. They're only paying attention to Sea Org now. That's pretty scary if you're in the Church of Scientology. Listen up, because that means they're just recycling you guys over and over and over, which they've already done for 10, 15, 20 years. But now you're like honing in. I've said it forever. It's just going to get worse and worse for the people that are in. And I tell the Sea Org that all the time. It's only going to get worse. Bail while you still can. So there you go. This is from a suppressive person talking about your personal freedoms and your own civil rights. That your church, with aka phony, fraudulent business pretending to be a church, is stopping your own civil rights if you're in. And for people who are out and worried about your family, just celebrate your life. Have a wonderful life. Eventually, there's enough information on the net. Hopefully, they'll find it and they'll wake up on their own and they'll get back to you. But in the meantime, I would not spend a lot of time on it because they are just like people who are alcoholics. They gotta hit rock bottom and they gotta find it themselves. So there you go. That's 2014 in February. That's my advice this year. I love you guys. Thank you for coming by. And please keep passing on my YouTube site, Tory Magoo 44. Thank you so much. I love you. Bye-bye.